Interesting thing that you say. One of the things that you said in the past is that you've tried to warn Democrats and Democrat elites about this issue, right? That perhaps they're taking the black vote for granted. You said that they're going to be entering the find out phase, right? And here we are in this
Yes.
find out phase. Specifically, you quote, Democrats aren't saying what needs to be said to these voters, right? And your new poll also finds that. Do you think that the Democratic Party has taken the black vote for granted over these last 4 years?
Well, I don't know if they've taken it for granted. I think, the Biden-Harris administration has a lot of real, achievements for the black. So black unemployment is historically low. That's
Yeah.
great. President Biden appointed Ketanji Brown Jackson to the Supreme Court. That's amazing. He's appointed, more black judges than anyone. That's amazing, right? But here's the dilemma. Those symbolic things, they mean a lot to the middle class and the upper middle class, black folks who are older, who remember the civil rights era, who are already going to vote for the Democrats. They don't mean as much to the under 40s who don't remember the bad old days of Jim Crow that, say, my parents went through, or my grandparents. I integrated my neighborhood. The under 40s don't remember any of that, right?
So
So
how
those,
do you get through to the under 40 then, right? Because listen, I'm 40
yeah.
years old. I remember a little bit of both. I love my history because I was around when the
Mhm.
internet was just rolling out, right? And
Right.
so you see a lot of things grow. But what do the under 40 crowd want to hear from the Democratic Party to re-energize that base? Because there's a lot of issues at stake that they should be
Yeah.
paying attention to. But what's the messaging? What needs to change?
Well, again, that's the fault of the campaign, right? So the under 40s, like young people in general, want to hear, what are you going to do for me today? So a lot of our under 40s, if they voted in the last election, they stood in long lines in places like Atlanta, right, to cast a vote. Democrats promising things like economic renewal of these communities. It didn't happen. They promised things like the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. It didn't happen. They promised things like the George Floyd Policing Act. It didn't happen. And a lot of black voters tell me that, their problem is under trying to figure out, like, why should they distinguish between the Republicans, who they clearly see as hostile to them, and the Democrats, who say that they're going to do things but then don't deliver because of what? The filibuster in the Senate,
Yeah.
right? So what VP Harris has to do is acknowledge that legacy and then talk about things that are going to differentiate her from Trump. And our survey has given like several clear signals of where she can do that.